Good morning, everyone. Thursday, June 20th, 2019, 46 degrees outside. It's 6 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor in the house. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane Taubman on the line with me in beautiful, cold, freezing Kamloops, Canada.
It's a January for sure.
So you got some snow up there, huh?
100-mile house, yeah, 100 miles north, 6 inches of snow.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're
not good.
I have no snow in my forecast, so.
Well, lucky you, because it may be coming.
Well,
it may very well be coming.
I don't think it's coming this week, but anyway.
All right, lucky you.
All right. Well, let's see. Forecast for today: we got showers and possibly a thunderstorm after 2 p.m. The high will be near 60 today. Calm winds coming from the northwest, 5 to 8 miles in the morning, and the chance of precip is, guess what, 90%. New rainfall amounts between a tenth and a quarter of an inch, except higher amounts possible when thunderstorms are happening. Tonight, rain and thunderstorms before 5 a.m., then the rain likely, low around 40, and northwest winds 6 to 9 miles an hour, becoming southwest in the evening. That'll warm up a little bit, so... winds could gust as high as 18 miles an hour. Chance of precip 90%. New precip amounts between a quarter and a half inch are possible. So we're getting a little bit of rain coming in there. Our high on Saturday is going to be 57, 40 the overnight low. Showers again, but less than a 50% chance. And then on Monday, things look a little better. We go back up to 69 degrees, 44 the overnight low, mostly sunny. Same story on Tuesday with 73 the high and 49 the overnight low. Wednesday, 77 and 49 and partly cloudy. And Thursday, 74 and 47 and partly cloudy. So pretty nice looking week ahead once you get past the weekend, when, of course, it rains and we're all off and we want to do stuff and we can't do anything at all because it's pouring down rain.
Well, it's fun to walk in a cloud.
You're right. Temperatures around the area right now. Livingston is 43 degrees. Manhattan is 44. Three Forks is 45. Gallatin Gateway is 43. Ennis is 39. Big Sky 32. At the airport in Belgrade right now, it is 44 degrees. And at our downtown studios, it is 46 degrees at 8 minutes after the hour. And tomorrow, of course, is what, Shane? First day of summer.
It's the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the closest that the Earth tilts towards the sun to redeem itself from the winter months.
That's right.
Of the southern part of the planet, which is in the depth of winter. Yeah.
I don't think our show's any longer tomorrow. I think it'll be the same.
Yeah, I think so. Minute by minute, it's the same.
Yeah, we'll add some extra programming before midnight, maybe, to make it fill in the longest day. So.
Yeah, and we don't have to, fall back on the clock yet, for several more months.
No, we don't. Yeah,
we're still. Yeah. But it's the end of spring, beginning of summer. Enjoy the summer, folks, because here it comes tomorrow.
That's right. Going to bed with the sun blazing through my bedroom window. Thank you very much.
That's right. And waking up to summertime.
Yeah. Well, at least I can see the outline of the mountains. Couldn't this morning because it was really cloudy, so not much going on. The moon was even covered up, and it's a full moon, so it was,
Must have been a cloudless sky.
Yeah. Oh, yesterday. Oh, my gosh, Shane. I went out to start the car yesterday morning and had a headlight out. And I just did the oil change the day before. And, of course, they check all the lights and everything. So I'm driving to work praying to God I don't see a cop on the way to work. And I didn't. So got the headlight.
You need headlights at 4 in the morning there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's dark.
Oh, my. Really?
Well, yeah.
Oh, it's
I mean, the sun's coming up, but the mountains block it.
Oh, no, the sun's not up here, but it's bright as day, and birds are out at 3:45.
Well, yeah, birds are out when I head to work because the sun's starting to come up. But
it's this bright outside
Oh, well, it's nothing like that here. Nothing even close to that here. Oh,
yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well.
Yeah, anyway. We have a very long day because it's like that till 10 o'clock at night here.
Well, yeah. Yeah, we're starting to get a little later. Well, I don't know what time the sun's going down because I'm snoring by then.
And tomorrow it will go down ewearlier because the days start getting, the doors are closed.
The doors are closed. And,
shorter.
Yeah, it's getting, yeah. Yeah, thanks a lot. On the 22nd, we're on our way to winter, right?
That's right. You're on your way to winter.
Well, this day in history, in 1963, the United States and the Soviet Union signed an agreement to set up a hotline communication between the two superpowers. So, 1963, we were still in the Cold War, a lot happening, and we didn't want anybody to inadvertently start firing missiles without a phone call. So we figured we better communicate. What a concept! Talking to your enemy. Oh my God, who thought?
But you see, this is why we have this show, because we report the truth. Yeah. In fact, there was never a telephone, and there was never really even a red telephone. That was the
movies. That was in the movies.
That was a conception of Hollywood.
Yeah.
It was basically a teletype equipment. That was what they first implemented was teletype equipment, which shifted to fax machines in 1986, which we should talk about someday. Remember how fast fax machines came about and how quickly your government passed legislation that documents sent out on a fax machine were legal documents?
Yeah.
Great story.
Yeah.
Well, and people, it's like the supersonic, supersonic transport people don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, back to the teletype, which became a fax machine in 1986. And then, since 2008, Moscow and Washington share a secured computer link over which messages are exchanged by a secure form of email right to Hillary Clinton's server.
All right. Well, I got ahead of myself there a little bit. I must have scrolled down the page a little far because we got to 1963. We should have started with 1863. West Virginia became the 35th state in 1863 on this date.
Well, and the reason it's so fascinating is because it was part of Virginia. Mm-hmm. And, it became an American state, and like you said, 63, which is during the Civil War. But it seceded from Virginia in 1861 because Virginia was a Confederate state.
Yeah.
And the people of West Virginia were not slave owners. So that's pretty amazing. Maine is the only other state to have separated from another state, Massachusetts, to become a state. So you got everything in your country that happened when it comes to states being states and territories.
And they did it without a war.
And they did. That's what's really. That's right. They didn't.
Everybody just said, "Fine, go your own way. We don't care."
We don't care. And you had a war to keep it together to save it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, your favorite girl, Lizzie Borden.
Lizzie Borden, yeah. Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. There you go.
That's right.
Remember that?
It all happened. The modern day psychologists say it all happened because her middle name was Andrew. Lizzie Andrew Borden.
Oh, because Dad wanted a boy.
That's right, because Dad wanted a boy.
1893, a jury in New Bedford, Massachusetts found Lizzie Borden innocent of the axe murders of her father and stepmother. And who was it? Bewitched played the Lizzie in the TV movie, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're very good.
Elizabeth Montgomery.
Very good. Another very good one. She was 66 when she died in 1927. Now, this always interests me when we bring people up, the people born in the 1800s and dying in the 1900s. I mean, I know it's no big deal, but like both my girls, one was born in 84 and the other in 85, so they will pass in the new millennium. There
you go, yeah.
Oh, but then so are you and I guess. What am I talking about?
Well, yeah. So there you are. But anyway, Lizzie supposedly committed the acts in the nude, and then just took a bath. No clothes to worry about. Nothing, whatever. So there you go. Little trivia there for you.
I bet she died an old maid.
I don't think she ever married. I don't think she did.
No, she didn't marry. No.
Yeah. Well, you wonder. Well, gee, you don't want to make her mad.
Well, yeah, but as human beings, you're most exposed when you're sleeping. So,
well, that's what
if you're gonna have a relationship, marry, and sleep with someone, pretty much. Yeah, should be someone you trust. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say you don't go to bed fighting. That's for sure.
Or with a broom nearby. Because,
with an axe nearby. That's for sure.
Farmers and truck drivers. Here we go, buddy.
Yeah, we gotta get on these folks here. We got farmers and truck drivers and cab drivers and everybody who brings you clothing, food, or booze, waiting patiently for the Montana news and agriculture and some other things. We'll be right back. Here's News and Ag. 22 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It is Thursday, June 20th, one day before the first day of summer, 2019, 46 degrees outside. Shane and Tobin on the line with me, Tommy Gluff, your morning mayor. And you're listening to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Thanks for taking us along with you this morning. We appreciate it very much. And we're going through the day in history. 1943, race-related rioting erupted in Detroit. And we had race problems all the way back in 1943, Shane.
Yeah, it's always been an issue. It's now, you're talking about war reparations. Oh, no, not war reparations. Reparations for slavery. Right?
Yeah, that's our poll question of the day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. 1948 on this date, the TV variety series Toast of the Town, hosted by Ed Sullivan, debuted on CBS, and Ed had a little bit of everything, didn't he?
Yeah, and became so famous, it became the Ed Sullivan Show, which was really remarkable, and and the way he folded his arm across and held his chin, and really, I mean, it was every Sunday night. I mean, what talent! What amazing talent!
I mean, you had to be there, man. That was the place to be on Sunday night. Really big shoe, a really big shoe. Got a really big shoe for you. A really big shoe.
If you were on the Ed Sullivan Show or Johnny Carson in the 60s and 70s, you made it, baby, in New York.
You were in the big time. You were famous. All right. Well, in 1967, on this date, Muhammad Ali was convicted in Houston of violating selective service laws by refusing to be drafted because of his Muslim religion. And the Supreme Court later agreed.
That's true, and but he was just such an amazing guy. I mean, he won at 18. He won a gold medal in the light heavyweight division in 1960 Summer Olympics. And then he became a heavyweight and won the championship in, I guess it was 61 from Sonny Liston. But the thing about him was, and this is sort of true. I mean, he was just a pretty amazing guy, good looking and great. And he knew how to promote. He was one of the great self-promoters of the 20th century. And the lead up to rap and hip hop with his, Dance Like a Butterfly and
Sting Like a Bee,
comment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Two big fights, the Thriller in Manila with Frazier, and his fight with George Foreman, the Rumble in the Jungle, which he did to make all the money.
Yeah.
And but it was the most viewed, 1 billion viewers worldwide, and he produced that fight himself because he'd been shilled by all the managers he'd had up until that time.
Yeah.
Died of Parkinson's syndrome and had 5 wives. So he was a busy guy.
He was a busy guy. Yep. I remember when I was in college, we had 2 guys that played basketball with us from Louisville, Kentucky, and they were telling me, hey, we got this guy in Louisville, Cassius Clay. Guy's going to be something. He's going to be something someday.
Yeah. Well, they figure he got the Parkinson's because of all the boxing.
Hits to the head. Yeah.
But he lived till he was 74, and the most recognized person in the world other than Colonel Sanders.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. There you are. Well, in 1975, the movie's Jaw was released. I remember seeing that movie, and I lived in the middle of Illinois on flat ground, and scared the hell out of me to get out of the car and go in the house.
Bum, 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 bum. The greatest start of any movie, yeah.
What a great movie that was, yeah.
And the music was written by probably the greatest composer of the 20th century, John Williams.
Yep.
We all know him from so many great films.
Yep.
But, this was a Steven Spielberg movie, and...
one of his first, too. Right. This was a big step for him, Right. He'd done some TV stuff and some other things, but yeah. Yeah, this was the big. They had all kinds of problem with the mechanical shark, and it wasn't until the middle of the movie that you actually saw the shark. And
that's right.
Whatever, they finally got it to work.
But
I guess.
I remarkably believe this: it cost $9 million to make Jaws.
Oh yeah.
And the box office $471 million.
Oh yeah. Made big bucks.
People were just like. They couldn't get enough of him. Couldn't get enough of Steven Spielberg. Yoo-hoo!
Yeah. Name the shark Bruce after his attorney.
How did you know that? It's not. I had to dig really deep to find that.
Well, that's a trivia thing. That's why I'm the host. Come on.
I know. I'm just impressed.
I got to know these things. 1994, O.J. Simpson pleaded innocent in Los Angeles to the killing of his ex-wife Nicole and her friend Ronald Goldman. So.
Yeah.
And the trial of the century went off.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
1997, the tobacco industry agreed to a massive settlement in exchange for relief from mounting lawsuits and legal bills, claiming the cigarettes were safe. 4 out of 5 doctors recommend Camels. Did you know that?
Yeah, well, you and I remember the ads on TV back
in we do, man.
50s.
Yeah.
Doctors walking around their white coats smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, right.
Everybody on TV were smoking cigarettes, and on every TV show they were smoking.
Well, even people who didn't smoke had ashtrays in their home for visitors that did.
Everyone was polite about it.
We were polite about it, yeah. Somebody finally said, hey, get that crap out of here.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
All right, we got to duck out here, pay some bills. We got Montana State News, Fox News, and Brooke Foster weather. And we've also got a Noxitril warning coming up right after the local news or after the Montana State News, I should say. So be warned of that. I guess they're not out of free samples yet. So we'll be right back with more of the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane right after the news. Stay tuned. 24 minutes till the top of the hour. It's Thursday, June 20th, 2019, 47 degrees outside. Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor in the house. Shane Mataban, half man, half amazing, in Kamloops, Canada, somewhere. I don't know where that is.
Just say north.
North to Alaska. Yeah, there you go. Well, we're running down the day in history. 1999, as the last 40,000 Yugoslav troops left Kosovo, NATO declared a formal end to its bombing campaign against Yugoslavia, and Yugoslavia no longer exists, Shane, I don't believe.
That's right.
That's there right. Anymore,
it was part of Yugoslavia that was run by Tito, the communist dictator, basically. And then after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Kosovo or Yugoslavia broke into several countries, and the civil wars, started up. And sort of an amazing story because the First World War they claim was the assassination in Serbia of the Archduke Ferdinand of the Prussian-Hungary Empire, but it was a Serbian who wanted freedom for Serbia, and then 100 years later, they sort of ended up with it, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Well, boy, I don't even want to report this one. 2001, Andrea Yates drowned her 5 children who ranged from age 6 months to 7 years in the bathtub of her family's home in Houston. How do you drown 5 kids?
I don't understand fratricide. It's hard for me to talk about it when we talk about,
late-term abortion and whatever.
Late-term abortion, never mind. Yeah, I don't understand any. I don't even read the psychology about it because it's chilling to me as a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I can't even fathom that kind of thinking. Can't even imagine.
Yeah.
How you would.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. 2002, the U.S. Supreme Court declared that executing mentally retarded murderers was unconstitutionally cruel.
Which is a strange sort of concept when you think about how people have died, right, or been executed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they started out cutting their heads off.
Yeah.
And then hanging them.
Yeah.
And then firing squad.
Electrocution.
No. Then they went back to cutting their heads off, but with a machine, not
that's true. Yeah, not a guillotine. Yeah.
And with a guillotine, and then back to hanging, and then for a short time in the early 20th century, they used guns, particularly during war, and then electrocution, and then injection. That's the strangest thing. Like, if capital punishment is cruel and human punishment, then any kind of execution, but anyway, it's just bizarre.
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
I would agree. I would.
It's one of those legal arguments. You go, really? You spent all this time and money defining this? Wow, that's bizarre.
Right. There you go. Well, in 2007, Sammy Sosa of the Texas Rangers became the fifth major leaguer to hit a 600 career home runs, and he was one of the ones, I think, accused of taking enhancement drugs as well. So well, yeah. So, I don't know.
But he had good numbers, baby.
Good numbers, yeah.
The bacon, right? Like, it's a batting average of .273, meaning, almost 3 out of 10 times at bat he hit the ball.
There you go.
2,400 hits, 609 home runs, and runs batted in 1,667, and time to more music and song.
Yeah. In 2009, Nadia Aga Sultan, 27, gunned down during election protests in Tehran. Her dying moments were caught on video and circulated widely on the internet, and they are still on. YouTube. So if you want to go over and take a look. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this. 15 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Thursday, June 20th, 2019, the day before the beginning of summer. Shane Matabin joins me online from Kamloops, Canada. And, we're having quite a morning here. From our text line, 478-8298. That stupid woman in the Noxitril ad is very presumptuous. Maybe she should have considered herself as the problem. Maybe she just didn't turn the poor guy on. After all, being a big gossip is not a very attractive attribute. Stupid ad. And a signed text, by the way. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, we're asking people. We're asking people, if you're going to put your money where your mouth is, just sign your text. I'm not going to read your name, but just sign your text. So
It's a fair question. A man or a woman sent that text?
Yeah, right. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Well, a woman sent the text, so there you are.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Do women really talk to each other like that? I don't know. I'm not privy to
these. Do.
You do? You think they talk about how the guy or whatever?
Oh yeah, worse than we are.
You think
the description, the down low, all of it, baby.
You think so?
Yeah, all of it. Oh
okay.
yeah.
Well,
they brag more than men.
Well, you know women better than I do, so I will defer to you.
And this is 6 inches.
Not this time of morning, it isn't. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Call here on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
How you guys doing?
Good.
This is Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
You guys are talking about how we used to kill people.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You left out stoning.
Stoning and
what?
Right.
Also, right?
What was the one they piled weights on you? What do they call that? Pressing or
drawn quarter.
Drawn quarter, yeah, we used to do that.
Drawn quarter, yeah. I mean, we're pretty brutal. You never hear about a deer going out and drawing and quartering a fellow deer.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's evidence right there that we were created.
Yeah, that's unfair justice because the deer's name is very dear.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you don't do that to, you can't do that to Bambi. Come on.
No. But you've been kind of batting 1,000 this morning, Tom.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you've been pretty funny. The whole. Well, I don't know if the show's going to be any longer. I've gotten quite a few chuckles out of you this morning. It's been pretty good, man. You guys are rocking and rolling.
Well, thanks.
I'm going on vacation next week.
Yeah, taking your boat?
Yeah, me and White Privilege will go into Fort Peck.
All right.
You mean White Privilege? What a great name for a boat! I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go hit Fort Peck, and I think I'm just gonna. I don't think I'm gonna camp like at any particular campsite. I'm just gonna pull over and camp wherever I'm fishing. Right?
Yeah,
that's right. Just honeymoon.
That sounds like
honeymoon.
Sounds like a good time, right?
We need a boat that you can just attach a tent to. You know.
Oh, dude. You just right?
I'm copywriting this deal.
Hell yeah! I mean, they've got those tents they stick on the top of pickups now.
Well, yeah, you just need something. You need like a little canopy fold-up thing or something that
an overland fishing boat.
Yeah, that's on the on the bow there. You just pull it up and you're ready for the night. Yeah.
Now, if I beat you, hey Tom, if I beat you to the patent office with this idea, don't hate me.
Hey, I've got it recorded, man. I know exactly the time I thought of this idea. You're SOL.
I still think you got to stencil White Privilege on your boat, man. You got to paint white.
Well, I'm definitely gonna do that, but I think I'm gonna have it airbrushed on there.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to look trailer park.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because that's not really White Privilege.
No.
It's got to be airbrushed with a
tattoo. Some off the wall color too.
Not white. It's a black boat.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe pink. Put it in pink.
The beauty of it is that it's a black boat.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna work it.
All right.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, it's all racial here.
I hear you.
The whole boat and everything. It's all about race. But that whole discussion they had over reparations.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. That's our poll question of the day: is should African Americans get reparations for slavery? Right,
and no logical person would think that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's akin to, hey, your dad, we found out he committed murder.
Yeah.
And he died before we could prosecute him, so we're going to prosecute you.
Yeah, you're going to do the time for him.
Yeah, you're going to do the time for him. And we don't do that in this country, right? So you can't punish and you can't reward. They don't give Medal of Honors to the children. They give it to the guy that died, that deserved it, right?
Yeah, right.
So, but I was, I get on the internet and argue politics, and a guy brought this up. He says, 2% of the population during the slave period owned slaves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there wasn't a lot. Yeah.
And oddly enough, there were more white slaves in Africa during that time than there were black slaves in the United States.
Yeah.
So slavery still exists today in this country. The government owns them now. So what are we going to? I mean,
there's slavery. There's slavery in third world countries too. I mean, it hasn't been eradicated completely.
Right? Right? Yeah. Slavery abounds globally. Yeah. But in this country, it abounds as well. If you read the Constitution, you will know that if you're incarcerated, you are a slave constitutionally in this country. So, does that mean that we, the American citizen, are going to have to pay every person that's been in prison?
Well, probably, I guess. I just.
I mean,
come on. You don't.
I think you need to go fishing.
Don't.
Why do we even go to work? I mean, why do we even go to work? It's like the government's like, hey, dude, your labor doesn't belong to you. It belongs to us. We're going to take it. Why do they even lie to us like this? Why don't you just say, hey, dude, look, go to work.
Go to work and pay your taxes.
Screw your paycheck. It's not yours.
There you go. I got to go. Hey, thanks, Aaron. All right, take it easy. All right, we'll be right back right after this. 4 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Thursday, January 20th, 2019, 47 degrees outside. And from our text line, follow-up to the previous one for you, Shane.
Yes.
I don't think so, Shane. I've never had that sort of conversation with my friends. We may discuss how our spouse has pissed us off, but bedroom talk has never, in caps, been a topic of conversation. Some things are still sacred. Once again, and that's a signed text as well. We have another signed text says, I say we pay reparations, but you and your family have to leave the country and never come back.
Wow.
So there you are.
Well, I think the Democrats should pay all these reparations. I mean, they're the party of slavery. They're the party of the Civil War, Jim Crow laws. I mean, this, it all falls on the Democrats. It doesn't fall on everyone else. The northern states and most northern Republicans, eventually, the Whigs and the Republicans, they were all opposed to slavery. So why should they pay reparations? If you were opposed to it from the very beginning.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Calling on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, yeah, this is Bill. And since I'm full-blooded Irish, I want reparation because of the invention of whiskey.
Ooh.
Because that's been the ruination
the root of the Irish.
So, yeah. So anyway, that's all I have.
Okay, thanks,
Okay.
Bill. All right. Well, let's go after Jim Beam, huh?
That's right, exactly. Another Southern product.
Yeah, there you are. Kentucky mash.
That's right.
All right. Boy, the South can't win today.
No, not today, baby. They're in that box forever, yeah.
Well, a story we didn't report yesterday, we just got a few minutes, but I wanted to bring it back up, is that the superintendent was hired, finally. The guy from Glasgow, school superintendent, that was in there. We didn't get to cover that yesterday because we went all over the place yesterday. We didn't get... Texters and callers.
Phone callers.
Yeah, callers and texters kind of took over the show, which is good for us. We like that. You know, let's get some views out there. A lot of people are talking about it. Well, the in the city, at least, the Mel, who's going to be Chris Mel's going to be the new mayor, and city commissioner Terry Cunningham. They're both wanting to cut the carbon emissions in Bozeman, and I tell you, Shane, the carbon was so bad this morning I couldn't even see to get to work. I had to slow down and feel the edge of the pavement as I drove along. That's how bad it was. So,
that and all that rain.
That was it. Yeah, the rain didn't help at all. But anyway, we're going to talk about e-scooters when we come back, and some other things the wackos down at City Hall are thinking about. So stay tuned for that. Also, the Parking Commission, hey, they want more residential parking fee rates from you. So we're going to talk about that as well. So we'll have some other local stuff for you, and some things going on over in Livingston as well. So we'll be right back with more right after the news at the top of the hour. So don't go anywhere. Thursday, June 20th, 2019, 6 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's 48 degrees outside. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor, in the house. Shane Tobin on the line with me from Vancouver. Not Vancouver, he's in Kamloops till tomorrow, I guess. You're leaving tonight, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, out of here tonight, home tomorrow. Okay, good, because I can't get used to saying Kamloops, so give me a break. Oh,
Tom, you're great. You're just great.
From our text line, 478-8298, reparations. My great-grandfather fought for the Union at Fredericksburg, was wounded in Virginia, and then fought at Cold Harbor. My great-uncle was shot and killed at Gettysburg. Enough said. I could sign my name, but don't think it's necessary. So there you are. So
again, so shouldn't the North be paid reparations for saving or eliminating slavery? I mean, like, where does it end? Where does it go?
Well, that's my thought. I wrote a blog a few, I don't know when it was, but anyway, it's called "Do We Owe for the Sins of Our Fathers?" You can look it up,
That's right.
I guess. And,
great blog.
And not only covered reparations for blacks, but also for Asians and American Indians and the Japanese. I mean, what do you do with this? Let's say, for example, that you were a slave in Virginia. Let's say, Shane, and
right.
I'm your descendant. Okay, so
right.
Do you just owe me? Do you owe my children that I'm going to have? And their children, where does this end? And how much?
Exactly.
How much do you get, and who pays it? From who and why? I mean, there's no way to logically make this play out. It's sort of like what are they? Unfunded liabilities. It's an unfunded liability. I'm always going to have a phone bill, but I'm not going to pay it 100 years in advance.
I would only consider this if I thought reparations for African Americans were going to be legalized, and it would absolutely reduce or wipe out the black abortion rate in your country. I might say that maybe that's how you end this genocide, right?
Yeah,
I mean, because there's more genocide going on right now with abortion in the black community than any other time in its history. I mean, two generations have been wiped out since Roe versus Wade, and the Democrats are responsible for that as well. And it's always a misdirection with them. No matter what it is, it's always a misdirection. Let's go another way, and that's what I see this as, because they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the things this president has done for African Americans. And it's a political baseball that they've knocked around, right? Like racism, every 4 years or every 2 years, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I just don't see any. I don't see any possible satisfactory thing to this. How would you prove you're a descendant of a slave unless there were, DNA? You're going to dig up everybody and check their DNA, and then, I don't know how you. Some people might have some history, and some people were talking about Barack Obama wouldn't be eligible, born in Africa, but he was, his father wasn't a slave. Grandfather, I guess, wasn't one. White mother, so he's out of the picture. I don't know about Cory Booker or Kamala Harris or any of the other ones that are running.
Wait. Kamala Harris has a real problem. We know.
Well,
her grandparents in Jamaica had slaves.
Well, there you are.
Now,
so,
are we going to have to pay for Kamala Harris's slaves?
Well, she's all for it. She's all for this reparation. So whatever. So, and I don't know.
This is the best policy the Democrats can come up with. This is.
Well, the Democrats.
Wow.
Well, when you think about it, Shane, all this boils down to votes. So, the southern border, they're not doing anything at the southern border. Nancy doesn't want to bring anything to the floor. She's reluctantly going to probably sign the $4.5 billion bill to help, with humanitarian efforts down there, but no wall or, nothing like that, because the Hispanics are the largest minority now, passing blacks because of abortion, of course. And now this is a way to bring the blacks back into the big tent, with reparations, because even if you don't get them, you're for them, for the people that should get them. So, if you're black,
Well, yeah,
I mean,
the reason the Democrats are bringing up this reparation argument, it's an unbelievably bad policy, idea, but it's to cover themselves with the black. The Democratic Party is a party of 33% minority groups in your country. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah. Always has been. And the Republican Party is a 31% party in your country of responsible people that work. As we said, 61% of all the people working in your country are in small companies. And, one's about emotion, and this is just an emotional political statement they bring up every 2 years. If racism doesn't work to keep the blacks in line to vote, Democrat, then let's go the other way. Let's go with reparations. We'll pay you to do it.
From our text line, 478-8298, regarding reparations, what about the black people who owned slaves themselves and also rounded up and sold their own countrymen into slavery? What price should they pay? So,
exactly.
Yeah, again, what's the deal there?
And what about African Americans that have been hugely successful and made vast amount of money? Should they have to pay more because they're successfully as African Americans? That's a fair question.
Well, yeah.
If every white person has to throw in to the pot money for this redistribution of money, and that's all this is. It's another democratic concept of how do we redistribute money to get votes. That's all this is.
Yeah.
It's very sad, very sad.
Also from our text line, 478-8298, they got 40 acres and a mule at the time they were freed. Now a lot of black people been on welfare for generations, think they have been played. Well, I don't think the 40 acres and a mule ever panned out, did it? And then they vote that down or whatever. I'm pretty sure they kind of put the kibosh on that. So
they did. It was a federal proposal that never got passed.
Yeah, it never got passed, I don't believe. But, they were supposed to get all this stuff. But they said, well, you're a lot like the Indian. We don't care.
That's right.
All right. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you on the air with Tom and Shane. What's up?
I want to know where you get all this free stuff.
Well, you got to know how to work the systems, Clint,
Well, I've been thinking about that, what you guys are talking about, this reparations stuff. I think you and I ought to have a little bit of that.
Well, sure.
And Shane, too, and the reason is, I don't think they're taxing our labor, and I don't think that's quite right, and we should be repatriated for the labor.
Yeah, the North Vietnamese owe me a boatload of cash.
Yeah. Well, the thing is if you're going to tax something, import or impose an excise taxes is what it's supposed to be. Roosevelt's the one that set this tax situation up, And it was supposed to went away after World War II, but it didn't go away. So consequently, we're paying taxes on our labor. And if that ain't slavery, I'll kiss you know what.
Okay.
Yeah. You betcha. Think about that. If you produce something and sell it, then you have a tax on it, fine. But when your labor is taxed, that isn't fine to me. And I think we're all slaves. If you stop and really think about it, we are slaves. I mean, the colored folks had nothing on us.
Well, it depends on how you look at your paycheck.
Okay.
Well, it does.
Okay.
It really does.
Okay.
When I went to work for somebody, the only thing I cared about was how much am I going to take home. I didn't care about the other stuff.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. No, as long as I could live on the take-home pay, that's what I negotiated for, was how much do I take home? Because I know there's taxes and I know there's all this other crap, but that's a smokescreen. let's suppose that the employer paid me 100% of my pay that I agreed to.
Okay.
Do you really think I'd be able to write a check at the end of the year to the IRS? Do you really think I wouldn't have blown that money on?
No, you would have never done it.
I would never have done it. Yeah, and the IRS would come after me and say, "Hey, you owe us a boatload of money. You should have paid it every month. But you didn't. So what's the deal?"
Well, what I would call the taxes is usury.
Well, it is, but when you get down to it, the employer pays his part and your part.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah,
especially
and you get a slip at the end of the year that says, "Well, we pay taxes for you. Thanks a lot." Well,
now, do you understand why all this has come about? Do you understand why that it never went away after World War II?
Well, sure, it was an easy way to get money.
That's right. So what does the American people do?
Yeah,
they just go along.
We'll roll over and take it. And as I said, all I work for is my take-home pay. The numbers on the left side of the paycheck don't mean anything.
Well, another thing is, if you stop and look at the homeowner, he's exempt a certain amount on capital gains. Mm-hmm. But guess what? You don't own your home. When you sell it, you got to give the government some money.
Well, and you got to pay lot rent on it.
Yeah,
as long as you live there.
Yeah. I'm wondering when the hell somebody's going to get smart enough to give us our home that's tax free and that we don't pay nothing on it.
Yeah,
and just pay upon what we produce.
Well, I've always said that. I think over a 10-year period, if your home doesn't produce income, you don't owe property taxes on it.
That's right. That's the way I feel too.
That's the way I feel. If your home produces income, then your business should pay the taxes on the property because it's producing what? It's producing.
I'll agree
right?
with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'll agree with that.
And I think over 10 years, if you adjust up income producing property and adjust down just your residence. I think over a 10-year period, we could all adjust to price increases, but you'd have more money to pay for the things that you have because you wouldn't be paying a couple grand a year in property tax.
Well, a couple of grand don't start mine.
Well, I understand that because you got a boatload of land out there. Come on.
Well, the thing is,
you own half of Montana.
Here's what's happened out here. It is not just with me, but everybody.
Well, sure.
People my age, in their 80s, have worked all their life to produce something so that when they get old enough to retire,
they got something.
They got something. And then you have you have your various different things to come up in taxes, bond issues, mill levies, and things like this are slowly taking it away, and appreciation in the land.
Yep.
And it's taking it away so the guy that's worked all his life to produce something and gathered a little bit of something is going to be taxed out of it.
There you are.
That's the size of it.
It's real simple.
It's simple as hell, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it either, but I got to go.
Okay, man.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
Bye.
All right, appreciate it. We'll be right back. 23 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m., it's Thursday, June 20th, 2019, 49 degrees outside. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor, in the house, and Jane Matobin on the line in Cantaloupe, Canada. And we've got a caller patiently waiting on the line. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Hello, this is Brett.
Hey, Brett.
Well, just calling because of all this discussion about property taxes and stuff. And I know in the last legislative session, somebody tried to write up a bill to introduce a sales tax that would replace property tax. And to me, it's like, why are we taxing, like you've been saying, hey, property that does not produce income. There's nothing going on there. There's no flow of cash there. We should be taxing the flow of money, consumption to fund things.
Mm-hmm.
So, Shane and I were having a nice conversation about, tax corporations. Well, if you're taxing the corporations, yes, they'll pass it on to the consumer because, hey, it's part of the process of doing the business.
Yeah, corporations collect taxes. They don't pay them. They collect them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, how about that?
Yeah.
Sales tax. replace the property taxes.
Well, I think a lot of people are in favor of that. Some people are in favor of it replacing the income tax. Some people want to replace the property tax. I like the idea of getting rid of the property tax because then you truly own your property once it's paid for, and nobody can come and take it away from you.
Yeah.
And you could give it to your kids or whatever, and, the property is done. It's over, unless it produces income, which would be my plan. And, if you start, if you put a furniture shop in there on your property, then all bets are off because you've got a source of income that can pay for the property taxes, and that property is generating revenue.
Well, then you go into, rental properties, all of these VRBOs or Airbnbs.
Sure, yeah.
And say, those would be paying taxes. And that's why in my leases, I break it out and say, hey, there's rent, there's utilities, there's property taxes or all the different types of taxes.
And maintenance probably too. Yeah, you got some maintenance in there.
Well, that would be thrown under the rent side. But it's kind of funny how we had some tenants complaining about, why do you separate it out? It's like, well, I want to demonstrate to you that, hey, you are participating in the local society by paying property taxes through your monthly charges or rent. So that when that mill levy comes up, you can think about, maybe this is going to cause my rent to increase. It's not just some esoteric thing that only homeowners pay.
Yeah. Well, when you look at it, we all voted, not we, but the people of Bozeman voted for the new high school, and that increased their property taxes. They voted for the public service building or public safety building. That's going to increase their property taxes. They're going to be asked to vote on the bill for, the park fund. That's going to increase your property taxes. So.
Well, it started off with, hey, let's have a green space levy. And it's like,
exactly, sure, yeah. Come on.
What are you thinking?
I know. That's what I mean. But you're making the point exactly right that a lot of renters think, well, let's vote for a school. That's not going to increase my rent. Well, guess what?
Yeah. And every year they complain.
Keep in mind, people don't fail to realize that in most elections in your country, it's a plurality vote, meaning less than 60% of the people vote. So, a majority is like 32%. So 32% of the eligible voters make a decision.
For 70% of the people, yeah.
Yeah. That's a plurality vote. So 32% make a decision for 100% of people, and it's a plurality vote. And that's the danger you run into in these types of issues, and the fact that people don't get out and vote.
Right.
But there's also the joy of having people bust in since we have same-day voter registration.
Well, there you are, too, yeah. So, yeah.
It's like, what's the deal there?
Yeah. Well, that's how it works, I mean.
Yeah. Who cares about getting dead people to vote anymore? Let's just bust them in.
Well, yeah, that's all there is to it.
From the border.
Yeah.
Yeah, just bust them in from the border.
Yeah, I bust Shane in every year to vote with me,
Yeah. It's a piggyback vote. Didn't you know that? It's a famous piggyback vote.
There you are.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, thanks for the call. Yeah, thanks for the call. Well put, well said, and I think you raised the intelligence of a lot of renters out there this morning.
Well, thank you.
So I hope so, at least. Okay. All right, hey, thanks for the call. All right, appreciate it. All right, we're running out of time here, Shane, so from our text line, 478-8298, assigned text, reparations should come from the people and donors of the political party that has profited from slavery through supporting and promoting slavery, starting the KKK, starting Jim Crow, segregation, abortion. Which party is that?
Thank you. Democratic Party.
All right. All right, we'll be right back. I don't know what we're going to cover yet. I do want to talk a little bit more about the reparations, but we've also got some city stuff to talk about and Livingston stuff. If we'll ever get to it, I don't know. We'll we'll see.
City scooters.
Yeah, city scooters too. All right, we'll be back. So stay tuned. A lot more of the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane yet to come. So don't go away. 24 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Thursday, June 20th, 2019, 51 degrees outside. Shane and Tom on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. And we've got a caller waiting on the line, Shane. So, caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, Tom. Yeah, I was just talking to Shane about the reparations.
Yeah, sure.
And I was asking Shane how many home runs can he hit in one day on the subject of reparations, because he's been knocking them out of the park. Because it seems like every time you look at this, and especially the last few days, the Democrats are absolutely terrified that they're going to lose the black vote because of a good economy and
low black unemployment.
Vote, they probably don't have anything.
Yeah.
The opportunity zones. I mean, you realize your president has pumped in $500 billion into opportunity zones across the country in all these Democratic cities, and the money has gone directly to African Americans mostly in the form of government loans to set up their own businesses. I mean, internet, computer business, food business, restaurant. I mean, it's amazing what he's managed to accomplish with all the trouble that he's been chased with by the Democrats. It's incredible.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's amazing how the Democrats kind of run a smokescreen, and I'm almost 65, and all my life they've had the black vote in their pocket, and if that goes away, they have a problem.
Well, we talked about this. We talked about this a little bit earlier, that the Hispanics have passed the blacks in population, and that's why they're not doing anything at the border, because they want that Hispanic vote. And as you rightly point out, this is an excellent way to court the black population back to the big tent of the Democratic Party.
Right, and I kind of wondered, are we still fighting the Civil War? I mean, the Democrats are responsible for all of this, and it keeps lingering and lingering in our society. And I think good economics can just weed that out, and the black people will just kind of wake up and go, I can do that too. I can do that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the black community, or the Democrats did the same thing with the statues in the South, last year or year before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kind of broke my heart, because I did some research on my family. I was adopted when I was 7.
Yeah.
And my birth name and my adopted name, I did the research, and there were like 6 pages, full pages, of both names on both sides. And I was wondering how many of my uncles were wondering if they were going to be shooting at each other to clear this up.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I liked what Shane said the other day about slavery in the United States. That was the British Empire. Mm-hmm. And we came in and we cleaned up the mess, and we're getting blamed for it.
Yep. Yeah, that was true. Well, in fact, when we outlawed slavery here, when Lincoln wrote the Emancipation Proclamation and all of that, the African leaders went to Europe and tried to convince them, hey, don't follow this. You're really screwing with our livelihood here. That slave trade is big bucks.
Exactly. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people in our government that need to read a little history.
Yep, I would agree.
Exactly. Thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Yeah, we appreciate you listening to us. We got to take another quick break. Noxitril warning, first commercial, so go for it. And I don't know what we got to do to get rid of these things, but anyway, I want to give you the warning at least. If you got anybody around that doesn't want to hear about dumping anybody, we'll be right back. 15 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, June 20th, the day before the first day of summer, 2019, 51 degrees outside. Doesn't feel like much like the first day of summer, does it, Shane?
No.
Well, you got snow you got snow where you are, so.
Up north, it's cold today. I mean, it's not nice.
Not good up there. Okay. Well, I don't know, Shane. Between Noxitril, the hernia mesh, the Amberen, and it's a wonder any of our listeners can function at all.
At all. and get through the evening or night. Yeah, exactly.
That's sure. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the air. What's up?
Yeah, that's definitely, I agree, that's shameless commercialism.
Yeah.
You're always talking about bathroom stuff.
I know. What's the deal?
Stuff. My comment is about slavery.
Sure.
Slavery was ended in England before the American Revolution. Part of the reason for the American Revolution, in my humble opinion, is so that the British Empire could continue slavery in this country under the name of the United States of America. And England has always been the father of this country. They still run this country today. The Anglo-American Empire is run by the same people, the elite. So the guy was talking about known history. Might want to do a little reading.
Well, I said Europe. I didn't say England particularly. I just said Europe.
No,
they went to Europe.
He said Europe.
Oh.
He said Europe.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
And England was pretty much dominating Europe. The British Empire pretty much dominated.
Mm-hmm.
Sun never set on their empire, and yet they continued slavery clear up to the 1860s. So you got to ask yourself, who's the bad guy there? Also, if you want more on that, England had limited admiralty law, which is the law of the sea and creeps up onto the land eventually. But in America, they beefed up their admiralty law. So the American Revolution, another one, is religion. In England, the church had a lot of power, but in the United States, no way. So those are three reasons for the American Revolution, in my opinion.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Good information. Thank you. 522-TALK is the number. Call you on the air. What's your name? What's going on?
40 acres and a mule?
Yeah, 40 acres and a mule didn't pass, though, I don't think. But
well, actually, what the 40 acres and a mule was, it was Special Field Order number 15, and it was written by the UN General William Tecumseh Sherman on January 16th, 1865. And he was the one, of course, that split the South in half and went through Georgia to the sea. And he became the governor of Georgia and seized 400,000 acres along the coast of Georgia down to Florida to provide to American slaves. About 8,000 families actually ended up on it. It was a concept by some very, Reconstructionists that were anti-slavery, but it never was formally developed. And unfortunately, the land ended up in the hands of the original white owners who were Democrats of the South.
So there you go.
Well, there was black slavery and there was white slavery, which was called indentured servitude.
Mm-hmm. True.
That's correct.
If you want to know about white slavery, read a book called To Hell or Barbados, where the British enslaved Irish on the island of Barbados, and black slaves were worth more than the red-leg white slaves because they enslaved 330-some thousand. Where my 40 acres and a mule for that?
That's right, exactly. Where does it end? Where does it start?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who's entitled to reparations and who are not?
That's why Eastern Europeans were known as Slavs, because the Vikings went in and used them as slaves.
Correct. Yeah, very good call there. Good point.
Right. Yeah, good info. All right. Thanks a lot. All right. Thanks for the call. Yeah, let's just cut the chase and call this what it is. It's a political ploy, Shane. It's got no merit. It's got no merit. It's not going anywhere. Nobody's going to vote for this. It's not going to pass. There's no idea how much money would be in there, but before an election, it sounds really good, So
that's right.
Just like taking care of let's get the kids out of the cages of the border. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We got concentration camps.
Oh my God.
There you are. Let's take one more phone call, and we got to take a break. Caller, you are on the air with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, guys. I don't know if you happen to keep the young black gentleman yesterday that spoke in front of the congressional slavery hearing, whatever it was called. But
yeah. Mm-hmm.
He said basically that reparations are for victims, and if you, as soon as you start giving him reparations, you make him a victim. And I couldn't have agreed more. And the Democratic guy that was running it really poo-pooed him and brushed him off. But there are no victims of slavery anymore. There may be descendants of slavery, but no victims anymore. So to pay people today for something that happened years ago, it's just wrong. I mean, these that they have now, as opposed to what they would have had their descendants not been brought over here, is night and day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were talking about NFL football player Burgess Owens, is the guy who testified to that and said, "Yeah, you're."
Oh no, there was another young guy. It wasn't Burgess Owens. There's another guy.
Oh, was there another one? Okay, I must have missed. I may have missed him then. So.
Yeah, very articulate and and then this guy, whoever the guy is, I can't think of his name right now. Cohen, is that his name? Whatever his name is. Just a moron, as most Democrats turn out to be. But he just said, he didn't even use the right word. I mean, he was grammatically, these guys just continue to embarrass themselves beyond, it's just beyond belief.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'll say it again. If the descendants of these people hadn't been brought over, years ago, they'd be in Africa still. Look at the opportunities they have there as opposed to what they have here.
Well, I think that's what a lot of people point out, that if you want to make a comparison, a lot of the pioneers died moving west, but are we better off because they went west here in Montana? I would have to say yes, we are.
Yeah.
I mean, we're reaping their sacrifice.
Yeah, or let's give them, they want $50,000. Well, okay, here's $50,000 now. You have to renounce your citizenship and go back to Africa. I mean, why would you get both? Why would you get everything?
Well, that's a good point. There's so many. This thing has so many facets. How do you? Where do you even start?
The main facet, Tom, is what you said, and everybody knows it. It's they're pandering. Okay, they're pandering.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they do best. And they're not real good at it.
Yeah, this is going to disappear. This is going to disappear when the debates start and all of that. They might come up as a debate question, but I think it's going to go away long before the election. So.
Yeah. Most of the things they talk about go away after the election.
Well, that's for sure. Yeah, after the election for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right. Thanks for the call. All right. Appreciate it. Shane, we got a caller waiting, and I got to take a break, so we'll be right back. 3 minutes for the top of the hour. Shane's got a caller on the line, so let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you on the air with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, your previous caller mentioned this a little bit, but this whole deal that's going on with reparation, it is just another attempt by the Democrats to get that community under their thumb, tell them that they're victims. You can't do anything without us. You've been picked on. You'll never be able to do anything without us. You just stay down there, and we'll give you what you need. Don't think about coming up here. You can't be up here. You just stay down there, and we'll throw you what you need. And that way they're going to get the votes. But it is, as I'm sure you've watched Candace Owens a little bit, I think she hits the nail directly on the head when she says that the Democrats want the black community to stay down and stay under their thumb so that they can get those votes.
Stay dependent. Yep.
And it is absolutely shameless and wrong of them.
Well, how insulting is it that they don't think that they're capable of going out and getting an ID to vote?
Yeah,
I mean, how insulting is that? I mean,
yeah, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
And yet,
hey, thanks for the call.
And this is a perfect example, Tom. Perfect example of what you just brought up. So you have this huge discussion in your country about illegal immigrants in your country getting driver's licenses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. And for some reason, every illegal immigrant has a right to a driver's license by the Democrats' word, and they should go out and get them. But people, to use the ID Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
No, I do. Yeah. Okay. We've got a caller waiting on the line, Shane, and we've got to take a break here at the top of the hour. So if you'll entertain them, I will be right back with more right after the news at the top of the hour. So hang on. Welcome back, everyone. It's 6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. It's Thursday, June 20th, 2019, 52 degrees outside. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane Montalban on the line with me from Cantaloupe. Half man, half amazing is up there. And, well, we've been talking about our poll question of the day. Should African Americans be financially compensated for slavery? And so far, 78% say no. Where would it end? Only 1% say yes, or 5% say yes, it is long overdue. And so, if you want to weigh in on that question, we'll be happy to talk to you about that. So, what do you think, Shane? Do you think it's possible? Reparations are possible?
Okay, two things. First of all, Kevin, sorry about that. Call back because Tom and I got a miscommunication, and we anyway. Call back, Kevin.
Oh, okay.
Here's my final call on this one. I just thought of this, so I could be right or wrong. President Johnson started the Great Society back in the 60s. And, the whole idea was to provide benefits to African Americans, another Democrat. But really what ended up is that it turns out it was reparations because, they got housing, they got food, and they became indentured all over again, So, 150 years it was slavery by plantation, and then in the 1960s, 100 years later, it's slavery by indentured reparations from your federal government. So I just, it's not a good thing. It's just a bad policy thing because they're pandering to the black vote to vote for them, period. End of subject.
Mm. Yeah, that's kind of what we talked about earlier. The mess at the border. Nobody's doing anything about the mess at the border because they don't want to offend the Hispanic vote. And the same with this. This is I think at least a ploy for the to bring the black population back into the Big Ten of the Democratic Party, and that's fine. If they want to do that, and more power to them. But
after the Civil War, there was this huge migration. 80% of the black slaves went to the north. And they went to the major cities. Mm-hmm. And those major cities in the last 100 years have been run by Democrats.
Yep.
And now the Democratic Party is horrified by the thought that if the African American wakes up to the Republican Party as their party, they have no core to the control of those major cities in the U.S. And you can go right across the board from Los Angeles to San Francisco to Portland, Seattle. Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, and on and on and on.
Well, I would agree. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are not there. So, okay. Well, maybe that was Kevin.
Yeah.
Maybe I answered too soon. I don't know. Well, we'll try it again. I'll let it ring for a minute here. See if we get a connection. There we go. We got a number up there at least. So, caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Well, good morning, Tom and Shane.
Hey, Pete, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I think that there was no reason to fight the war. I think slavery was going to go away on its own.
I'd agree with that. I think eventually it would have.
Well, if you stop and look at, free labor, slavery is free labor. That's not true. I mean, the slave owner had to purchase the slave to begin with, and he had to feed, clothe, house, and medicate that slave. He had an investment there he needed to protect.
Yep.
Okay. And it gave rise to the wage slave. Give them a little stipend and let them feed, clothe, house, and medicate their own butt. As opposed to the owner, and of course, eventually the cotton gin would have wiped it out anyway. But that's not all they were doing. It wasn't just cotton pickers; they were doing all kinds of stuff.
An indentured servant is not a slave. In the beginning, those people traded their labor for a boat ride to the United States.
That's right. And in the 21st century, if you live to work because you love what you do and you're happy to get up every morning excited and go do it, you're not indentured or enslaved. But if you work to live, if you work for the man to have a paycheck and pay the bills, you're right. That's sort of a indentured slave sort of.
Well, that's a large majority. Right, that's the large majority of the people today. That's what they're doing. I mean, we have this, and another thing, a misnomer, and that'll feed into this is, the middle class. Stop calling it the middle class. Not the middle class. It's the working class. Period. They're always feeding us these words. Oh, you're in the middle class because you make X. What? No, I work. I make X. So, yeah, I don't know any. And reparations are just stupid. But you look where they come from, and you can understand.
Don't sugarcoat it, Pete. Come on.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna. I'm done sugarcoating it because I was done sugarcoating it many, many moons ago.
Okay.
Anyway, that's the deal. I think it would have gone away. That's why I've never been a fan of Lincoln. There are other ways for that to be dealt with, and he chose the wrong one.
Yeah. Well, if you don't like Lincoln, you can buy a Chrysler. It's okay.
Exactly.
Well,
you have a choice.
Lincoln's a
More choice today.
There you are. Thanks, man. All right, take it easy.
That was a good call, Eagle, man. You're very sharp. You're like on fire.
There we go. From our text line, 478-8298. Talking about the Civil War, I recommend Shelby Foote's 3-volume history of the Civil War, especially the first part of Volume 1 and the last section of Volume 3. Let's see. So the slaves were given free housing, free health care, free food, free clothing, and a guaranteed job. Sounds like the Democrat platform of 2020.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Amazing.
Let's see. Slaves were valuable because they were purchased versus white indentured servitudes, which were expendable. The top 1% of the rich blacks need to help their brothers. So there you go. Let's see. Also from our text line, what a great conversation you're having here this morning. What I love about Montana and KMMS is sometimes you are so racist you don't even know it. Okay, well, there we are. So you got to love that too. So we didn't even know it. So all right, all of you are welcome here. So come on down. All right. Well, when you talk about race in general, when you're talking about reparations for people, when you're talking about welfare, when you're talking about all these things, and as I said earlier, how insulting is it that a black person isn't capable of going down and getting an ID to vote? I mean, how insulting is that?
It's incredibly insulting, and it suggests or implies duplicity with regards to the government and its policy, because they issue you a Social Security card for free.
Sure.
So why not put a picture on it? The infrastructure is there. You've got the motor vehicles department. Oh no, but how are they going to get there? They can't afford. I'm sorry. Anyway, I don't want to go on a rant. Anyway. Yeah. The bottom line is, all things being equal, the world has advanced incredibly, especially in the last 30 years, and we talk about it, and that's what's important. And racism, really?
Yeah.
Prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. You and I have that attitude? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
From our text line, 478-8298, when the lights go out, the entire world is the same color.
Ooh, very good.
That was a good one. Yeah. So.
Yeah, like we all bleed red. That's a good one, too.
Well, that's true. That's true, too. All right. Well, we haven't even got to anything local today. We should talk.
I know, like
we should talk about the city. They're weighing the pros and cons of e-scooters. These things, if you're not familiar with what an e-scooter is or whatever, there's companies around the country where you can just rent a bike or a scooter on the street with your cell phone using a smartphone app. And Missoula's city council is, they're going to vote on an ordinance that would allow electric scooters and bike rentals in town in areas that normally have regular bike traffic. And Bozeman hasn't seen any proposed ordinance yet, but of course, our more liberal folks are more than happy to have people running all over the place on scooters and electric bikes and whatever, rather than, gas-guzzling SUVs. So,
we have it here. No, we have all three here. We have scooters, bicycles, and cars.
All right.
So you can go to a car on the street and get in and pay to get access to the car and drive it around and leave it wherever you want to, and someone else will pick it up.
Cars, too?
Yeah, cars.
Oh, well.
Cars, bikes, and scooters. Yep. They're free to be used. You pay for them, you use them.
Well, you guys have $8 gas.
Yeah, I know. And $8 an hour meters to park somewhere.
Really? $8 an hour. $8 an hour to park.
Yeah, downtown.
Give me a break.
$8 an hour at a meter. Yep.
Give me a break. What do you got to have a roll of quarters? Does it take loonies?
No, it takes smartphones, of course. Smart meters.
Of course.
Oh, no,
what was I thinking?
We have.
You can't park without a smartphone, huh?
Oh yeah, stop telling you, it's crazy.
All right, well, I got to think about this, so I'm going to take a break. So, because I don't know, $8 an hour to park. That's I don't know. That's
how crazy is that?
That's indentured servitude. That's what that is. All right. We'll be right back with more on the Morning Soapbox right after this. Stay tuned. 20 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. It's Thursday, June 20th, 2019. 52 degrees outside. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house. The KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, and Shane and Tobin in Cantaloupe. He'll be back in Vancouver tomorrow morning. So we got to put him on the phone because they don't have anything up there that resembles Skype. So
yeah. G5 is not here yet.
Yeah,
I need G5.
Yeah, right. There you go. All right. Well, we're talking about reparations. We're talking about scooters in downtown Bozeman. We're talking about all kinds of stuff, I guess. So whatever's on your mind, 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Call you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Good morning, gentlemen. One last thing on reparations.
Go for it.
I think the feller that got dumped because he didn't use his pill, he should get reparations. That's all I have to say.
All right, good deal. Oh, geez.
I like that.
From our text line, 478-8298. So who's a slave now if scooters, different ways of getting around, are going to cost you $8 an hour? How much an hour do you need to make resident alien subjects slave serfs? Well, we're not paying $8 an hour here, but Shane is in Vancouver. $8 to park, $8 a gallon for gas up there, and
U.S.
Yeah, U.S. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so
yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so that's quite a. I don't know. I still can't believe you're sending oil down the transatlantic, or not transatlantic, the Keystone Pipeline.
XL,
Keystone Pipeline to us, and we're at $2.79, I think, or something like that. How come our gas is so much cheaper than yours?
Well, this is what's great. So we're the largest importer.
Well, I know it's taxes. I know it's a lot of it's taxes.
Lots of taxes.
Yeah.
But we're the largest importer of oil and oil products to your country. 1 million barrels of oil a day, moving to 2 from the Keystone, and then 500,000 finished products. And then, of course, mostly those are lubricants for a car manufacturing. But we import 80% of our gasoline in BC from the U.S.
Well, you're like California.
Yeah, there's no major refinery in the province of BC. There's a couple of small ones, but the only refining in Canada is in Alberta, of course, Saskatchewan, and Ontario, and in Quebec. But yeah, for the most part, Canada gets most of its gasoline and gas products from the U.S.
Wow.
By pipeline, no less.
There you go. From our text line, 478-8298, don't you need a motorcycle stamp or on your license to drive a scooter?
Not apparently here when you rent it. Nope.
I was wondering if you had to have a qualified motorcycle license or not to do this. So I guess not.
It's a lawnmower scooter.
Well, okay, if you say so. Let's see. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that nearly 250 people visited an emergency room in the Los Angeles area due to electric scooter accident over a 1-year period. Now, 250 people, and how big is Los Angeles? 10 million?
No, it's not big in New York.
Well, I guess that's right.
Four.
Okay.
Well,
it's got to be bigger than that. San Diego's like 6 or 7.
Oh, well, greater Los Angeles is 86 square miles. Yeah, but like you've got all the suburbs.
Okay. Well, anyway, 250. Only 10 of the 250 were documented wearing a helmet. So,
well, there you go.
So I guess if you wander around downtown, you have to take a helmet with you, and plus the $8 parking, of course. So I don't know. Anyway.
Well, no, you can't ride a scooter here without a helmet, and the helmet is attached to the scooter.
Oh, I see. Okay. So if you don't reattach it to the scooter, how do they know you took the helmet and just because you like the style and color and match your shoes?
I don't know the details. I don't know the details.
All right. From our text line, 478-8298, look how reparations are working for the Native Americans. Yeah, there you go. And I have a scooter, and I had to get a motorcycle stamp. So
there you go.
There you are.
You're right. 3.9 million people in Los Angeles. 4 million.
Okay. All right. So there you go.
Chicago's number 3 million, and Houston is 2.5 million.
All right.
You don't have big cities in your country.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Yeah.
Well, we don't compared to, we were talking the other day about Mexico City, 30 million there, and London, 12 million or whatever.
And China, I mean, it's pretty,
well, it's because we like open spaces, We like the open spaces of New York and, Baltimore.
And because everybody has a car. You're a mobile society.
Well, that's true. Everybody's got 4 cars, actually, but...
Oh, do they? Oh, 4 cars.
Pretty much, yeah.
Two cell phones.
You got one for mom, one for dad, one for each of the kids, so come on.
Well, what the craze is up here is this Pokemon thing. And people actually, I have a nephew that loves it, and he goes out to these Pokemon events, and they're people with a board, and they have 5 cell phones on it. So they can play it on 5 cell phones at a time. Now, how wacky is that?
That's pretty wacky. I don't know.
Yeah, it is wacky.
Well, anyway, speaking of parking, it's going to cost you more to park in the residential parking permits around MSU and the high school. Should the city commission approve, parking permits would go from $25 to $30 this year, and there would also be a new $10 permit for service vehicles who want to deliver that don't have a sign identifying the business on their vehicle. But apparently, they're losing money. For 2019, there was a $44,000 deficit in the parking. So this fee, this $5 fee, will drop that to $37. So we're pretty excited, but. And by the time they get to $40 a year, it'll only be $6,450 they'll be in the hole. So, man.
Here's a quick story, real quick. So the city of Toronto wants to cut expenses, and they're cutting back people, and they eliminate this one job for $75,000 a year, and everybody's happy. It's all accepted. So 18 months later, all of a sudden, there's no revenue coming in for pet licenses.
Yeah.
Right? And the cities go, why aren't we getting all this money in for pet licenses? Because they fired the guy that was doing the job to bring in for $75,000. Well, I love that story. Like, the revenue was like $3.5 million a year that they were losing because they fired a guy being paid $75,000. Wow.
There you go.
Cities, government, they get it all right.
All right, from our text line, 478-8298, it's a stand-up scooter, not a sit-down scooter. So I guess if you stand up, you don't have to pay the big bucks. So I don't know. So anyway.
Or have a license.
All right. All right, we still have a full half hour to go. Don't go anywhere. Shane and I will be back shortly. Hey, don't forget about our app chat on our cell phone, your smartphone. It's right next to the listen button, and we'll be happy to take your comments on the air. And also, don't forget to vote in our poll today. Should African Americans be financially compensated for slavery? Should they be compensated for slavery? So let us know what you think. And we'll be back right after the news. So stay tuned. We got Fox News, got Montana State News, got Brooke Foster with the weather, and a lot more things to do. So hang in there. We'll be right back. 23 minutes for the top of the hour, Thursday, June 20th, 2019, 53 degrees outside. Time to go off your morning mayor in the house, Shane Tobin on the line in Vancouver. And he's been entertaining a caller. And caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox. What's up?
Tom, it's Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Shane and I had a great conversation about, it all centers around wants versus needs and one size fits all, which are both problems that government loves to create.
Well, ain't that the truth?
The point about the scooters with the helmets attached, that's an example of one size fits all.
Yeah, right. Well,
the people who an aerial applicator, or you might know it better as a crop duster.
Yeah, I
had helmets all the time.
I bet
they had to fit exactly right, or they weren't going to do you any good.
That's for sure. Yeah,
and the idea that you can put a scooter out there with a helmet attached and accomplish what you should accomplish is nuts.
Yeah, well, that's true. I was going to say the people who came up with a one size fits all have never seen me.
Your headphones work.
Yeah, they do.
Go visit a place like Virginia City and try to walk straight into many of those buildings.
Oh yeah. Doors, I got a duck.
There, and you realize that one size does not fit all.
There you go. Hey, thanks for the call. All right, appreciate it. All right, take care. 522 Talk is the number. Call you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up? Are you there?
Hi. Are you speaking to me?
Yeah, I am.
Okay,
I'm talking to you.
I was listening for some kind of burst of static or something.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Several minutes ago, I heard the tail end of or part of the story about this place that was losing money because they fired a guy who was making $75,000 a year.
Oh yeah.
And I suppose that the short-sighted idea at the time was, we're paying this guy too much, and we need to kick him out altogether. Is there something I can Google or search in some other way? Because I'm really curious about that story. It reminded me of, in the 90s, I heard Limbaugh tell a caller that, the caller was saying, does a CEO really earn $20 million a year? And Rush insisted, yes, they do. And at that point, they weren't even on the subject of sports athletes or movie stars. It was just, somebody's the boss, so if you're a boss or something of that sort. But anyway, so I'm looking for something I can search and maybe even print out, because that sounds like a really good example of being short-sighted and, well, we're losing money by paying this joker,
Shane, why don't you repeat that story for the benefit of the caller?
No, you just go to Google on internet, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and
Ontario, Ontario,
Toronto, Ontario.
Yes, big city in Canada.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, you'll need more. You'll need more than that, won't you, Shane?
No, just Toronto, Ontario. I think it's dog licensee terminated and rehired. It's something like that.
Yeah.
You just Google something like that, and you'll get the story.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's very good. Thanks.
I'll try it.
Helps a lot.
Yeah.
All right, have a good day.
Okay, thanks for the call. Yeah. All right. Well, the other thing I wanted to cover here in the time we got left, Shane, let's take a break and we'll come back. I want to talk about Fonda and Bullock.
Oh, yeah.
Jane Fonda giving Bullock a boost. I want to talk about that when we come back. Being a Vietnam vet, I got a couple things to say about Jane. So we'll be right back right after this. 16 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Thursday, June 20th, 2019. Tomorrow's first day of summer. 54 degrees outside. Not very summery, but, well, what can I tell you? It's Montana. Well, I wanted to give a little, Fonda giving Bullock a boost to do a fundraiser for him so he can get in these debates, I guess, is probably what we're thinking here. But obviously, I guess with Jane's hubby owning a big piece of land here in Montana, I guess we cross paths with her from time to time. So... But I don't know. Most of us, particularly Vietnam veterans, don't have an exact fondness for Jane Fonda, as most of you well know that most of us feel she gave comfort, aid and comfort to the enemy, and all that stuff. But anyway, let's see. From our text line, Hanoi Jane should never be let back in this country. Traitorous. The B word.
There you go.
I think I could say the B word, but I'm just not going to talk to it. And also from our text line, I had to take in 10 inches on the waist of a pair of pants that was one size fits all. So there you are. But anyway, getting back to Jane. Anyway, she's going to put together a handful of agents, producers, lawyers, hosting an event at the home of model and professional golfer Anna Shervin and her talent agent Ted, according to an invitation obtained by the Associated Press. Bullock, a cowboy boot-wearing executive from a rural state won by President Trump, may seem like an unusual benefactor of campaign cash from the members of Hollywood elite, often associated with far-left causes, but a progressive governor with from a Trump state has a great story to tell. Well, I don't know. He was in Iowa. He was in Iowa recently talking about climate change and failed to mention anything about coal strip.
Yeah, I know. Well, and I what I don't get about it is the two rules is you have to have a minimum of 1 or 2% in 3 polls.
Yeah.
Or 65,000 designated contributors that have given you at least $50.
Yeah, or from from 20 states too. You got to have them from a bunch of different states or something. So
how does her raising him a bunch of money getting him into the debate?
Well, I don't think it'll get him into this debate. Now he may be able to get into other debates if if he can do
Holds out.
Well, if he can do some if he can get some money to start with, he can do some advertising in some of these other states and pick up some cash. I mean, he doesn't need that much. So.
Well, I even the names have had their play in this cycle with the Democrats, and I'm sure your governor's name just like Hickenbacker, it's the longest word in the English language.
From our text line, Bullock is an embarrassment to the state of Montana, nothing but a raging lib. He should move to California. Well, there you are. Yeah.
Well, I think if he moved to California, I think you have to be a resident in the state for a period of time to run for office, don't you?
Well, I think so. Yeah. It's in California, I think it's 10 minutes. You got to be there at least. So, yeah. But Let's see. When the devastating news came out that Colstrip 1 and 2 would be facing an early shutdown, Governor Bullock was talking climate change as he campaigned in Iowa. Didn't say a peep about saving Colstrip in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, gosh, no.
Since then, he was asked by a San Francisco newspaper where he stood on coal. He responded by basically talking about weaning our country off of coal. So there you are.
Yeah, and again, we've talked about this before in the last block today, so let's just take it one little step further. When we talk about pandering for the black vote, it's no different than the environmental vote. The Democrats are pandering for the environmental vote with the Green Deal, and the guilt associated with climate change and the millennials. I mean, so it's quite fascinating when you do see that there's a distinct difference between the choices people are going to make in the next election, but not just for, the federal position like a president, but the Senate and the House. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to see.
Yeah. We have a signed text. An actress who supported a foreign enemy is now contributing to a political campaign here. Sounds like foreign collusion to me. Have to agree with that. Let's take a phone call real quick. 522 Talk is the number. Call you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
So Hanoi Jane is supporting Steve Bullock. What?
Yep.
I mean, that alone should give you some clue into what Steve Bullock is all about and his character.
I couldn't agree more.
Montana or not, he's the poster child for your typical Democrat.
Yeah. Well, as I've always said, the first time I saw Bullock was in the very first debates, I guess, way back when he was elected, and I don't know, watching him, I felt like I had to go take a shower. I don't know, man, it was painful.
So,
I just find it so strange that I know there's, you've got Missoula and the Billings and Bozeman. They're pretty much liberal areas, right?
Well, Billings isn't.
No?
Bozeman and Missoula are very liberal. So is Helena.
And Helena, and I think up on the range by Cut Bank and up there by Whitefish is probably pretty liberal. But I don't understand how the state appears so much to be conservative and then continue to elect Democratic governors. It's quite fascinating.
Well, particularly when Trump carried the state, we voted here in Gallatin County carried Hillary, but there was about 6 counties of the 56 that, went blue, but
wow,
everything else was red,
Gallatin and Missoula, and I'm sure Whitefish.
Yeah, yes. Well, some of the the ones that border Canada, where the liberalism has seeped over the border into some of the top counties.
You get illegal seepies, not
that's right.
Immigrants.
Yeah, legal liberal seepage into Montana from Canada.
So, except for being white and male, he's just your typical Democrat, and being a typical Democrat is actually getting to be pretty un-American.
Well, here's a guy that campaigned on coal, saving coal here, and then goes to Iowa and says, "Oh, I'm all for climate change. Let's get rid of coal." Guy's going to say whatever he needs to say to, placate the base.
Well, it sounds like the typical Democrat. If the verbiage doesn't fit, you just change it. So, just like with the global warming, now we change the name to climate change. We got to change the narrative, change the verbiage to fit whatever we want to support and back.
There you go. Hey, pro-choice works better than pro-death.
Oh, yeah. And anti-abortion instead of pro-life.
That's right, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we can spin it with the words we want to use.
There you are. Hey, thanks for the call. All right.
Okay.
Appreciate you listening to us. Thank you. All right. Well, we're getting down to the wire here. We got the Rush update coming up here in a few. But anyway, this thing with Fonda, I can't even believe that even a Democrat would go for that. I don't know whether she reached out to him or he reached out to her.
It doesn't matter. It's desperate.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but
it's desperate. That's what it is.
I don't know how you could be more desperate. I don't know. I guess you could get Jeffrey Dahmer to endorse you if he was still around.
Well, and the thing you find so interesting, is like Zuckerberg and what's his name from Amazon. Mm-hmm. You don't hear them publicly really in a big way, right? Like this, announce how they're going to support somebody, like personally. I'm sure they probably donate to PACs and things like that. Bezos and the other guys. Because they can give big bucks to PACs, they can't give big bucks to a political candidate, obviously. But, exactly.
So that's where the issue comes in, and as we're always talking about, elections are all about money.
And candidates like your governor is just this is just a retirement fund. I'm sorry, that's what it is.
Well, I think that's probably what it'll turn out to be. If he does get any money at all, as you pointed out the other day, that they got to keep it for a couple of years and or give it back to the DNC if they want to, I guess, or keep it if they're going to run again. And over a period of time, if they don't run again, then hey, it's just their money.
So. Yeah, that's right. Or they could donate it to charity, but I don't like how many Democrats donate to charity. Give me a break.
Yeah, I was going to say So I don't know. Well, I don't know. We've covered everything. One of the things we've just got a couple of minutes left. Mexico did ratify the USMCA trade deal.
I know.
We should talk about that for just a second, and then. The other thing, China's Xi Jinping is going to North Korea to talk to Kim Jong-un, and whether or not that will bring him into the fold or not, I don't know. But we got to take a break right now, do the Rush Update, and we'll talk about a couple more of those things when we come back right after this. So here's Rush. We're out of time.
Indeed. Goodbye, Mayor. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Be happy, be safe. All right. Have a good day.